The realm of Hermaeus Mora is a sprawling archive stacked from its very roots to the top of its towering shelves, with the shadow of mortal knowledge. It is certain death sentence for those who cannot stop themselves from turning the page. We need to go over here. Alright, welcome back, and thank you guys so much for joining me. I know it's been like, oh my gosh, probably 2 weeks since I played, due to Next Fest taking up all my time. But Next Fest is done! We got to play a bunch of demos. We made it. Now, time to try something else. Seems to be a lot more hey guys than I remember. Oh, now I see. God, I'm an idiot. Such a creepy place. I guess not creepy is the wrong word. Gross. Squelchy. Moist. Quiet study. Do I really want that sky shard? If I go for that sky shard, then I probably go for the quest that's right over there. Because that usually means that guy wants me to do something for him in here.
Cut it out, Worm, or I'm going to slap the pages out of you! Evening, friend. Or morning. Hard to tell in these Daedric realms. You've just stumbled upon the oddest family reunion this side of Fargrave. I'm Eastgild, and this annoying tome is my brother, Worm. As you can see, we're in a bit of a conundrum.
Wait, that floating book is your brother?
Seems my know-it-all twin found a way to become even more pretentious. At least I'm pretty sure it's him. No, it's definitely him. I think he wants me to enter the study to find a way to fix him. Care to join? I've coin if you're interested.
What would we need to do?
Before you came along, Worm spat this note at me. The family's favorites. V. My guess? We go into the library and find our family's 3 favorite books. He's got to have something up his parchment sleeves. Something that can change him back.
I'll enter the study and help you find these books.
Mother always said I was good at making friends. Wait, where are you going, Worm? That's that. Looks like a map? How about you take that, friend? I'll just follow Worm. If the map guides you to my adventure novels, Worm's dusty science books, and our dear mom's favorite histories, you'll know we're on the right track. I think we should split up and shout for one another if we find something. Oh, what a mess. You really let the place go, Worm.
This one.
Friend, we'll meet you on the other side.
Sweet. save. The 5 points of the star. Prophecy is her province.
You dare try to steal knowledge from me? Now my chapter ends.
Prophecy is her province, and that which is seen by the night sky queen must eventuate, however dimly it may appear to mortal foresight. For mortals are not all given the gift of crystal vision, nor can they always endure knowledge of the truth. Dawn is the time of eminence, when Azura touches us with wisdom and purpose. It is when we speak the supplication for guidance, and tremble in fear that it may be answered. Rose is her color and her flower, and moon shadow her abode, as risen is the sun. Tend we then by midday our mortal necessities, conserving always some part of ourselves for when the sun slides low. Dusk is when we turn our hands to Azura's commands, then we praise her with our dark evening acts, and glorify her with chastising of non-compliance. And fate is the book that she writes, and to inscribe our worth in deserts. Desert? She writes and describe our worth in deserts? For that doesn't really make any sense either. Anyway, for by our acts do we earn her regard of disdain, and read our destiny in her prom. Shut up. Over there. And hi, big guy. Flesh extronaut. He looks huge. Do you think he's awful? Let's find out. No, actually, he's not that bad. Go. Big guy was a softie. Why can't I pillage his corpse? His corpse wants to be pillaged. I think my inventory is full. Like, I don't know which direction I can go, to be honest. Alright, I need to work on my aim with that.
I need healing.
You sure do. I hope... Okay, I haven't gotten past where I needed to go yet. Fine, cool. One up there. Oh, is he the one that's causing the bottom? There's the sky shard.
Biographies sure were full of themselves, weren't they, Vorm? Is this it, Vorm? Just a little light reading? Wait, what happened to the pages? Have a look around, friend. See if you can find them.
Nope.
If you find something boring, you're probably on the right track. Seems excited about that one.
That didn't make it up in time.
Looking.
The Society of the Steadfast forged its reputation on the battlefields of Cyrodiil and at sites of natural disasters across Tamriel. Founded by Lord Backer of Valoris, the society consists of healers, caregivers, and a small contingent of knights that send teams loaded with supplies from one location to the next as the need arises. We do what we can, Lord Backer has said on numerous occasions. I wish we had the numbers and resources to do more. Near the town of Bravil, in the wake of a fierce battle between the forces of the Ebonheart Pact and the Aldemiri Dominion, the society quickly swooped in to provide relief to those wounded and displaced by the conflict. This chronicler spoke to a soldier and a civilian who were both recovering from injuries sustained in the battle in the Society's healing pavilion. I have no doubt that the timely intervention of these good healers saved my leg. I thought for sure I was going to lose it after it was pierced by that high elf lance, explained Hybert, a Nord soldier from the far north. And I got caught in the blast from some sort of spell, said Luris, a resident of Braville. Destroyed my home, too. If not for the society, I'd have no shelter, and my family would be starving. Thank the guards for Lord Baccarat and his generosity. This damn war, said Mendor Pular. Sorry. I long for the day when I'm not holding some young man or woman's insides in my hands. Until then, I'll keep doing whatever I can to help. How could I do any less? Later, I visited the Steadfast headquarters on High Isle, where they also have a House of Healing center for the wounded who required more care and longer periods of recovery than can be handled in the portable pavilions. Lord Baccarat has given over a substantial portion of his family estate for the Society's use. I believe everyone who has the means should do whatever it is in their power to help their fellows. How can anyone of good conscience do less? While all three alliances honor and accept the neutrality and good work of the Society of the Steadfast, that doesn't mean they can ignore their own defense. I spoke about this with Captain Marguerite, the Society's second-in-command and leader of their contingents of knights. Our pavilions and caravans, full of food, medicine, and other supplies, are tempting targets for bandits and wandering monsters, the captain explained. So while we usually don't have to worry about the combatants engaging in an ongoing war, we still need to protect ourselves. We don't have many knights, but the ones in our service are well-trained and brave to a fault. I'm proud to serve as their commander. If you are ever in need of assistance, whether due to a war, famine, or disease, look for the distinctive banners of the Steadfast Healing Pavilions. We never turn away anyone who needs help, said Captain Marguerite. So, this world's version of the Red Cross?
Together. Hey, looks good as new. Well, all things considered. Anyway, grab that boring book and let's get going.
There. Is there gonna be another entrance?
This isn't what I meant when I said you needed to grow a spine, Borm. Now, this looks like someplace Mother would love. Minus the beasties, of course. Though, I suppose we were her beasties way back when.
Argrave, a city mate.
Let's take a look around. I can't quite remember her favorite, but I'll know it if I see it.
Fargrave, a city of myth. Fargrave may seem to some just an obscure demo plane of oblivion, but it has a rich history and an important role to serve. Fargraven finds itself well trodden by interplanetary travelers. For example, it would not all be surprising to see a mage hailing for Somerset, trading tales with a grasp of the stricture. Because of this, Fargrave is an exciting locale for any keen adventurer. In fact, when I last visited there, I witnessed a gleaner of Arbris interrogate...
Not one of these tomes will escape my grasp. To ink I return.
When last I visited there, I witnessed a gleaner of Arbris interrogate a pickpocketing scamp, something you'd be hard-pressed to see in Tamriel's mundane countryside. I hope that this introduction to Fargrave's rich history will make the Demiplane all the more enticing to adventurers new to interplanetary travel.
Book about Fargrave? Give that a toss. Mother could probably tell us more stories about it than any one book. It was her home, after all.
I will consume every word of your story. From this ink, I draw my strength. To ink, I return.
I think we're just gonna...
That sounds pretty dry, doesn't it? Mother loved old civilizations, but the aliens were a tad blasé, don't you think?
Tamriel Twins of Myth, an introduction to the Twins of Myth. If you have not had the pleasure to travel the far reaches of Tamriel, let me paint you a picture. Imagine the crisp air of frostfall, the last rays of daylight slowly disappearing behind some great and majestic mountain range. You stand before a warm and cozy inn, or a kind stranger's home, or some such hearth where your needs for the night will be met. Before shuffling off the weight of the day, you take one last look at the darkening sky, and what do you see? Twins. Joan and Jode stand as testament to the potency of twins in Tamrielic mythology. But there's a sad truth I must share. Many of the greatest myths and legends have never been put to paper. No, I know. I can already feel the collective shudder that passed over scholars of storytelling, but it's true. In all my travels, the most potent and vibrant stories are the ones shared to young ones around a campfire. It is a great honor to be able to share 3 of these stories with you, but I want to be clear, this is a privilege. These tales are to be cherished, not picked apart with academic precision. The first of these stories was told to me while the Argonian hatchling chewed on my leather-bound journal. The tale of Argonian twins, Isaac and Twir, who wandered too deep into the bowels of the ancient Zarmir. Then we'll travel to the coast of the Sistries, where the Morrowind twins, Rosina and Namir, dive into cursed slawed waters. Finally, we'll close with the Nord myth, the story of Filrig and Rihanna, who woke to find themselves lost inside a magical blizzard.
Hey, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I remember now. Mother would read these stories to us as kids. Even swapped out the names for ours.
I think this way may take us where I want to go for the... Oh, yes. Creature just gets swept up in that crazy weather tornado. Book tornado. Oh. Here we go. One sky shard collected. I want to... These type of dungeons always make me feel so powerful, and then you have the other ones that make me feel awful.
Don't know how my brother gets anything done in here. I lost my fingers and fighting satire.
I will consume every word of your story.
I recognize that fight anywhere. Now,
These pages reveal your doom. Now, my chapter ends.
shouldn't be too dangerous, right? That's quite frosty out of its case. Now, ever so gently, take the rhyme shard and... Oh, I mean, it's supposed to do that. Now hurry! Grab the book before the effect wears off.
I'm not going to be able to read that, I'm sorry.
Hurry back before you and the book burn to a crisp. Looks like Vorm is ready to leave. Meet us outside with those books when you finish up in here, all right?
Yep, and that library is pretty dang cool. Alright.
Glad you made it out of there. Vorm's been so excited since we collected all 3 books. He's practically shedding pages. Hand me those books, and we'll see if Vorm's actually got a plan, or if he conned us into doing his bookkeeping.
Here are the books. Do you know what he has planned?
Not a clue, but Vorm seems excited enough. I think I'll just lay them down and let him work his magic, you know? And here, even if he stays a petulant little pamphlet, you still deserve a reward. Take it. Vorm! Quite the mess you got yourself into.
Books don't need to breathe, but it sure feels good to breathe again.
Hey, what happened to the books? I was going to read Blackscale again.
Black scale? That garbage is printed en masse. Planar formulae was one of a kind.
Oh no, what a loss that is. It's good to have you back, brother.
And it's good to see you too, sister. Thank you. And thanks to our new friend as well.
Welcome.
Greetings, my friend. It is nice to actually have a chance to introduce myself. That other form was, well, a bit limiting in terms of communicating effectively. I'm Vorm, and I am in your debt.
Tell me about yourself, Vorm.
For starters, I'm actually a Nord, and not a floating book. I work as an archivist in service to Hermaeus Mora, though the Lord of Knowledge affords us some freedom on how to conduct our business. Hence my private little library.
How does one become an archivist for Hermaeus Mora?
Well, as I like to say, there's no one way to read a book. My family's unconventional upbringing gave me a rather unique perspective, and that attracted the prince's attention. I get my own space to study as long as I share my findings.
Do you plan on returning to your post on the Disquiet study?
Naturally. The Guardian of the Unseen may be inscrutable at times, but my prince will surely sort out the bedlam in his halls of erudition before too long. His loyal servants will need to return to make order of the disorder, and I will do my part.
How did you end up becoming a book?
Oh, just hubris and folly, I'm afraid. Though I'm skilled in many arts, confronting beasts and skulking through labyrinths was always my sister's specialty. I'm not ashamed to admit that when chaos began to befall the study, I panicked.
So you turned yourself into a book to escape?
My mind wandered while attempting to portal out of the study. I imagined hiding within the pages of a book, and in my haste, the spell went awry. I was left a tawdry tome with no hope of returning to normal. Until my sister arrived, of course.
How did you know gathering these books would save you?
In truth, I didn't know for sure. But one's sense of self stems from the moments and events that shape us. I was willing to bet my connection to these written words, paired with my family's bond, would help return me to normal.
All right, Form. Have a good life. We may or may not meet up again. Is that you? Oh. I don't know what I'm doing with the... Oh, goodness. Hush Dark Champions are feeling it. I don't want to say that it's been pretty quiet, but it's been pretty quiet. Not much has wanted to kill me dead. I don't know if I should be grateful or scared. Oh, and I know someone's probably going to comment, why don't you use a mount? I never do, because you never know when I want to stop and collect something. And that means you have to get off your mount, back on your mount. Off your mount, back on your mount.
Another one. Confounded thing. You have an intelligent look about you. A moment of your time?
Sure.
Greetings! You have a sharp look to you, traveler. my name is Xander. I'm an Arcanist, and I'm hoping we can help each other out. I've decades of esoteric knowledge, a bit of coin, and a convivial attitude. What do you say?
It depends. What do you need help with?
I'd like your help tracking down a former associate of mine. I was attempting to create a relic of great power, and now find my fate frayed, for lack of a better term. I call this relic the Fate Weaver Key.
How can your former associate help?
Martina was a brilliant collaborator, and may be able to identify where I went wrong. To find her, we'll need to find a tome, summon a Daedra, and brave the terrors of Apocrypha. What do you say? Join me in an exploration into the unknown?
Sure. All right, Xandar. I'll help you find your associate and fix your key.
I'm looking forward to our collaboration. As I said, we'll need a book on Daedra summoning to get us on the right track. Let's convene in the center of Cypher's Midden. Is there anything I can clarify for you before we begin?
Sure. Can you tell me more about what you're trying to do?
That mystic phenomenon I was struggling with, I'm calling them frayed fates. They're echoes from a choice I once made. My work to create the Fate Weaver Key has snarled them up. So untidy. If I'm ever to perfect the key, I'll need to unfray my fate.
So we're going to unfray your fate. How are we going to do that?
A good question. I need to reset. Return to the roots of my research to unravel this issue. That's why I'm hoping to find my old colleague. Their name was Martina Abor, a talented researcher, though we've since parted ways.
Let's see. You went to find Martina, but we're starting by looking for a book?
My hope is that a Daedric consultant, a watcher named Tim, will know where they are. The book will lead us to Tim, you see. Thankfully, the Ciphers of the Eye have given me access to their stacks. Ha!
What is it you do, Xandar?
An excellent question. I'm a scholar of esoterica, eldritch secrets, and things mortals were not meant to know. I'm an Arcanist of the highest order, proud to say, wresting the power of Apocrypha into my quill-gnarled hands, as you do.
I'm an Arcanist. I am an Arcanist as well.
Ah, a fellow seeker of knowledge. Do you hold more to the tentacular school of thought? Or are you more of a rune carver? You're not one of those tiresome paddlers in the fathomless seas, are you? Apologies. We can compare notes later.
What were you trying to do with this Fate Weaver key?
It's not my fault. I mean, I was attempting to peer beyond the veil of reality, much as Hermaeus Mora does, to gaze upon other fate lines. It would have been brilliant. I should have spent more time developing my infralux notation.
What do you hope to learn?
Just think, what could you learn by looking beyond your own life? At the paths unwalked? What kernels of truth could you hold with such a tool? I hope to gain knowledge about myself, about the universe, why, about the very nature of mortality.
What makes one of these frayed fates? Did you make one when you decided what to have for breakfast?
A simplistic example. Not all choices are equal, but if the choice to have oatmeal instead of eggs changed the course of your life, think of them like divergence points, and everything you could learn seeing the might-have-beens play out.
Alright, let's get to it.
The stacks aren't far at all. I'll see you there.
Oh, it's a companion quest. I haven't done one of those. So I left Elder Scrolls just right after they introduced companion quest and didn't actually ever grab a companion. So this should be fun. I think where we're going is going to kick off the next quest. On top of that.
Over here, Proxy.
Alright, I'll come talk to you in just a second. Hold on.
Over here, Proxy.
The search for knowledge begins! Ha! I have no idea where in Orbis to look for my old colleague Martina. But I know she was working with a Daedric consultant, a creature named Tim. If we can summon Tim, we can find Martina.
And we're here to find a book to summon this Tim.
Indubitably, I knew I was right about you. Now, an esteemed elder within the ciphers once summoned forth this Daedra. If we can find the notes from this elder, you and I can summon Tim and engage in parley.
How do you find one book in all of...
You've never been to the Library of Dusk, I take it. Or the forbidden section of Gwillem University. Dedicated scholars must develop their own search magics. I'll begin the incantation. Just be ready for anything. Apocrypha is full of surprises.
Got it.
Incantus eruditum. Abyssal sea, hear my call. Find the secrets beneath this scroll. The rune form is complete. Follow where it leads. Aha! The book we need is in that pile. There. A tome show has the text. Get after it. The chase is on.
Am I chasing it or am I killing it? Must be chasing it. Okay, so there's a bit of a glitch. You see all these guys? What are these guys doing here?
Excellent work.
What is going on? Why does he sometimes have a hood? Sometimes he doesn't.
Ha! That was bracing. Pity the tome will smell like transliminal parasite now. Let's see what it says.
Here you go, one book.
Here's the ritual to summon Tem. Easy enough, just a question of the appropriate summoning materials. We'll need expunged tome dust, the talon of a seeker, and black ichor from the spoomy pools of Apocrypha.
Where can we find the ritual materials?
Let me mark your map. Seekers tend the flora of the region. Their talons often break off in the resin. And there should be plenty of tome dust scraped from parchment in the cipher's midden expungatory. Try to get some from a Daedric incantation.
What about the ichor?
I'll procure that, worry not. Don't want you to think I'm taking advantage of your assistance. Once you have the dust and talon, we'll meet back up at the ritual site I've marked on your map. What do you say?
Get the talon and tome dust and meet you at the site. Got it. See you there.
The tome dust should be found in the cipher's midden expungatory, while seekers tend to congregate around those resin plants to the southwest. Easy enough, and soon we'll be talking to Tem.
You seem familiar with Apocrypha.
Well, I should hope so. I've been coming here for years. Fascinating place. You can learn the ways of the Arcanist back home, of course. But to truly understand the forces of fate, tides and the abyssal sea, there's nowhere else like it.
Where's home? Back on Tamriel?
Oh, here and there, you know. You've seen one post-feudal city-state, you've seen them all, am I right? My family hails from Hammerfell. Born and raised in tall Papa's shadow.
You visit them often?
I'm no youngster, obviously. My parents now dwell within Aetherius, and the rest of the family politely pretends I don't exist. Best for all involved. Now then, we have a Daedra to summon. Knowledge to gain.
Right, better get to it. So broken. Alright. We're gonna put a pin on that quest for right now. Laramel. There's a crystal somewhere nearby. There? I'm standing? It's further away than it likes to be. Let's go to...
Over here, Proxy. I trust your trip through the endless library was not too unsettling. The winding paths of Apocrypha can prove troubling to those unfamiliar with its preternature. Cypher's Midden contains a wellspring of knowledge. Shall we begin our research?
How are we going to find anything useful in all these books?
The ciphers of the Eye offer hospitality and refuge to mortals who arrive in Apocrypha, whether purposefully or by accident. However, I am reluctant to involve them in this endeavor. Fortunately, I have my own methods for conducting research.
What sort of methods?
The contents of these stacks change from moment to moment, such as the nature of this realm's thirst for knowledge. I can prepare a spell scroll for each of us. As you search, it will dredge up anything related to the parameters I set for the spell.
Parameters?
All research requires parameters. This spell should locate information pertaining to the Fulcrum Obscura, the Rite, and Torvasad's lost dream. Use the scroll's enchantment to aid your search. Then return here, and we shall compare notes.
Alright, I'll see what I can find.
Scour the stacks, Proxy. The magicka I infused into your scroll shall assist you by retrieving any relevant tomes from their resting place. Meet me in my nearby study when you have completed your search.
I have a study in Apocrypha. I don't know why we're asking that, like, shocking.
What a curious query. Where else would I research and ponder the knowledge that the one who knows deigns to share? It is a humble refuge, nothing more. Now, we really must see what information we can draw from the stacks of Cypher's Midden.
What do we already know about the relic, the rite, and the dream?
You and Gadain recovered a portion of the relic, the Fulcrum Obscura, from the catacombs of Necrom. The rite appears to be related to a black book once in the possession of Magister Meln. Both seem to be essential to the enemy's search for a dream.
How can they search for a dream?
Apocrypha contains all secrets and knowledge. Whether they be dreams or memories or tomes, they all wind up here. We know that Torvasad learned something at the Tranquil Catalogue. We need to conduct our own research now and try to get ahead of them.
How can we find a dream in Apocrypha?
That is what we must determine. The various repositories of Apocrypha are infinite. Books, glyphics, vaults. We have ascertained that if this particular secret is uncovered, it has the potential to destroy reality as we know it. That must not happen.
Goodbye. Is he alright, or does he hate portals? I'm confused by that. It's showing me the crystals and the tomes now, and I am finding it slightly annoying. guessing I'm going this way. And I would be guessing right. The Dangers of the Truth. The Dangers of Truth by Cypher Fandinler. Those odd scribes of Mora believe that knowledge is the most important concept in all of Oblivion's realms. Their assumption is incorrect. Truth is the only worthwhile attribute to strive toward. Assumptions, fallacies, and misinformation tarnishes knowledge. It has no more substance than thoughts which flit across the sky like ink in the wind. Truth remains the only constant. It is the rock which directs the streams and transforms the shape of the waterway. To understand something so monumental and steadfast is not a simple feat. Have you ever actually observed a rock in a stream? The water tries to cling to it, to feel the shape of the rock entirely, but is forever whisked away. So too will we never understand the scope of the truth we strive to attain. We are forever changed by the truth we seek, but there is not one among us who comprehends more than the dark shadow of the truth in our stream. This is much of the truth as we are ever able to understand. Truth is a dangerous quality. It contains negative aspects and suggests implications the likes of which even the most steadfast of Daedric minds cannot comprehend. Hermaeus Mora alone holds dominion over truth, fate, and the related fields. At best, discovering the truth guarantees the death of any hypothesis regarding the nature of the subject being researched. All of the knowledge gathered gets smashed against the rock and washed away in the current. The collapse of hypotheses and theory often results in a drastic and fundamental change in understanding. This shift is not limited to the subject originally researched. Instead, it quickly swells and overturns all that was previously understood. Truth is not linear or finite. Any truth discovered has a lasting impact on how we perceive reality. For example, an imperial grows up on farmland, an area flat and devoid of trees. In fact, only one tree grows in the 3 villages surrounding the farmstead. That imperial naturally attains old age with the knowledge that only one tree exists in all the world. Imagine, if you can, the experience that an imperial undergoes the first time they see a forest. Now you begin to understand the difference between knowledge and truth. Feel how much more weight the truth carries. This example covers only the smallest of truths. Think now on what understanding of larger truths can do. Can there exist a truth so large that it causes lasting harm, not just alternation? Can a truth lead to injury? Death? Of course. Just look at the course of history. Truths, secrets, and discoveries of all sorts have caused countless deaths. Mortals kill each other over secrets. They hunt each other down in all the dark corners of Mundus. If this is the retribution of uncovering mortal truths, what is the implication for discovering the truth of the Daedra? It is obviously much worse. Unlike mortals, Daedra have eons to plan their perfect revenge. They have schemes in place on how to deal with interlopers and nosy mortals. Daedric princes are even more thorough. Hermaeus Mora especially regulates truth. He allows us to perceive only what he deems acceptable. His secrets far exceed the scope of truth that we can comprehend, let alone survive. An example of the level of truth we deal in: known things are truths that are so powerful that exposure to their magnitude can cause madness. Which isn't to say that a known thing is one particular type of truth, or even truth in and of itself. I have heard rumors that some known things appear as books, whose pages record events of the past otherwise missing from history. Others may be creatures from long-lost realms, or a meal from the greatest chef no one has ever heard of. The exact nature of known things, why they are known, or what exactly binds them together, remains unknown. But their impact is well documented. Any mortal exposed to a known thing is usually driven instantly insane. Their influence and the weight of the truth they bear is far too heavy a weight for their mortal mind to contain. So, to answer the question, which is a greater aspiration, to collect knowledge or to comprehend truth? In this, truth wins out. But that doesn't mean all truth seekers understand the weight of their commitment, nor are they prepared to understand what they uncover. Most of us, like the water in the stream, flow through our lives with our hands outstretched, only to feel the barest touch of a rock before we are swept past it. That was kind of deep. Yo. Right, in we go. Oh, I guess.
Over here. See if that straw Lirinil gave you actually works. Spell through that book from the stack. Quick, grab it.
What a disconcerting feeling. One day everything is fine, and the next worry and anxiety fill your every waking moment, and you're certain something is missing. Something important. Something vital. I'm experiencing that now. I feel as though something I knew intimately and completely yesterday vanished. Not a trace remains except for a vague dream. My work suffers. I asked my fellow ciphers if they are experiencing the same sense of loss. They quickly look away, refusing to answer. I know this sounds insane, but I think reality has somehow changed. Someone or something has erased what was true and absolute just yesterday, and the worst part is, I have no idea what I lost. My superior has cautioned me against this, but I must speak directly to the Great Eye. If something altered reality, surely our master would want to be informed. Perhaps I'll even be rewarded for noticing this change.
An ancient tome describing lost memories barely remembered in a dream? Too bad you only retrieved a few pages. This stack might contain something important. What a mess. Have they no respect for the written word?
Alright. Dude, can you stop doing that? Oh my goodness. Jesus of Skyrim. At the behest of my correspondents, I have made great efforts to restrict the contents of my travels journal so as not to lose my readers' interest. In touring the holds of Skyrim, I was unsure through what lens I should present my travels. After a sumptuous meal at the start of my journey, I knew it must be food, and thus my catalogue of Skyrim cheeses was born. The land is as diverse as it climbs, and both mean the panoply of cheeses are vast. Again, for the sake of brevity, I sought to capture only the most noteworthy cheese from each hold I visited. Greenedge is a festive cheese, which I found to be rather peculiar due to the dour reputation of Haldremarch, and in particular its capital of Morthal. The name of the cheese derived from the charming baskets, for there can be no other word for it. If rushes plucked from nearby bogs and woven together speaks to both its visual appeal and the process of its creation. The cheese is brined and pressed within these baskets, with the latter process imbuing the rind of the normally cream-colored cheese with its verdant hue. The way the locals eat the cheese is also curious. The consumption of greenedge, customarily served at the end of feasts, has become something of a spectacle. Young hunters make a game of holding the rush encased cheese over a flaming torch until its casing burns away and the cheese transforms into a near molten state. Observers laud veterans of this ordeal for the showmanship they add to this feat, dancing the highly combustible cheese along the torch flame without pausing too long, lest the cheese blacken or their fingers burn. Thus prepared, they flip the hot cheese onto the table, and guests immediately plunge bread or occasionally sliced apples into the melted goodness. Children find particular joy in the activity, for at this point the cheese's secret contents are revealed: dried fruits and berries, and in wealthier households a single amber plum. The lucky eater that spears the plum before all others is named King of the Feast. Solitude Adir. The greatest of the cheeses in Skyrim, in my opinion, is Solitude Adir, not because of its flavor or bizarre nature, but for its extreme rarity. This cheese, as the name implies, is an Edar cheese being aged and inoculated with the spores of some fungus. And like Edar, it is aged underground, and in this case, in the vaults below the ancient city. But here, the similarities to regular Edar end. First, the Source of Solitude is a masterful translation of Western Skyrim's staunch traditionalism to the practice of cheese making, and this starts with the milk. Only cows that belong to the herd of Jarl Svart. Jarl Vart. Sounds a lot like fart to me, but whatever. First king of Western Skyrim can provide milk for the cheese. The royal herd descended from these cows is maintained by local retainers. Milk arrives regularly in Solitude, where it undergoes inspection by a royal cheesemonger, a hereditary office within the Blue Palace. This connoisseur of dairy has exacting standards for the milk he inspects. Indeed, for I've seen him, and only 1 out of every dozen barrels is deemed fit for the making of the Solitude Adar. The milk curdles in a precise fashion, using a series of hourglasses custom-made for the purpose. Lastly, they add a crumb of cheese from the previous batch into the next one, thus creating an unbroken chain of cheese dating back generations. The result is, as I'm led to understand, a cheese that has precise appearance, aroma, and a taste as it had in Svart's day. I was skeptical until I was given 2 pieces of cheese, one preserved from decades ago, and one only recently cut from its rind. I was instructed to sample both and see if I could tell the difference. I could not, and I wept. It amuses me.
This stat looks promising.
I forget sometimes that there's a humor in this game where it catalogs as different things, like cheese.
It's burning up. Quickly, grab whatever remains.
When the Great Eye answered the prayers of the mortal, Prior Dorndon, it granted him the runes needed to craft a relic of Apocrypha, the Fulcrum Oscura. The Lord of Secrets imbued the runes with the power to locate and uncover secrets, no matter where they may hide, and the Prior inscribed them on ancient bone related to Necrom's history. Now it is the opinion of this cipher that the Prince of Fate never intended for the mortal to retain the relic, nor was it meant to remain forever entombed within the catacombs of Necrom. I expect the Great Eye to retrieve the Fulcrum Oscura at some point, or grant it to another of the faithful when the time is right. Until then, allow me to record the miracles ascribed to the relic, for what other gift of Hermaeus Mora allows a devotee to locate a place desired or to reveal a secret importance. For example.
It's almost as though someone is eliminating these books the moment you find them. At least you recovered something.
Done with me? Okay.
What a mess. Have they no respect for the written word? A brittle old tome. Handle it carefully.
A place that exists inside a pocket realm of Apocrypha. The infinite Panopticon serves as one of Hermaeus Mora's most secure repositories of secret knowledge. In addition to being hidden in a shifted dimension, the entrance to the Panopticon constantly moves and never appears in the same location twice. Other defenses are rumored to protect it, including shifting chambers and corridors, an army of the hushed, and other guardians too powerful and obscure to describe accurately. What secret knowledge demands such precautions, you may ask? Only knowledge that the Great Eye considers too dangerous or too revealing to be trusted into anyone's care except his own. Legend claims that these secrets are stored in books and scrolls, and glyphics of specific design or within fragments of Mora's own memory, contained within his own free-floating eyes. It is said that spending too long within this place will drive the mortal mind insane.
The book crumbled to dust. Hopefully the pages you recovered contain something relevant.
Another disturbance in the currents of fate, and what do I find? The Great Eye's mortal surrogate. Again.
Hi, Scroot. Look closer in case these are effigies to animal gods. The defecation of the bear, dragon, fox, moth, owl, snake, and whale and wolf have all been recorded by our field agents, and many believe these totems stand as sentinels over lost ruins. These tumble-down temples, guarded by half-woken draugr, or worse, are from a time when the dragon cult supposedly ruled this province. While no modern Tamerlane need believe these hopelessly fanciful fables, the Nords' simple-minded veneration for these places betokens their fear of the return of the dragon priests. During the worship of Akatosh, the dragon, as god-kings over men, these priests were the conduit through which dragons spoke, made laws, and were honored with grand and elaborate temples. When Alduin, Akatosh's firstborn, was defeated atop of the throat of the world during the mythical Dragon War, the cult that sprang up around these dragon guardians soon receded into the soil, buried among dragon mounds with the remains of these beasts. They were finally vanquished in the Rift Mountains by High King Harald. The veneration of animal gods was soon replaced by the 8 divines. Oh, there he is. Root.
Once again, the water of fate ripples with unnatural disturbances. As if some huge clod tossed a rock into a still pond. And what huge clod do I find at the center of these ripples? The Great Eye's mortal surrogate.
What ripples are you talking about, Scroot?
As I explained on the mortal plane, I am tasked with aligning wrinkles in the annals of fate. How I accomplish that is totally up to me. But when something alters fate's prescribed path, it makes ripples. Just like the one I followed here.
We're searching these stacks for information about the relic, the rite, and the dream.
Interesting. It would be good to know more about what the agents of Vermina and Periite seek in my master's realm. Did anything out of the ordinary occur while you were conducting your search?
All of the books we found crumbled before we could get more than a little information out of them.
I was afraid of that. Whatever you're involved in may be beyond my jurisdiction. I suspect the secrets you hope to uncover fall under the direct protection of Apocrypha itself. The Great Eye has put precautions in place to keep them hidden.
What does that mean exactly?
It means you have been given an impossible task, and it may taint my otherwise spotless record. This is not good. Not good at all. Take whatever you learned and bring it to Larimel the Wise. Hopefully she can make sense of this conundrum.
I don't understand why this upsets you so, Scroot.
Of course not. Why would you? You're only mortal. You were selected to help Hermaeus Mora save Apocrypha and Nirn. To do that, you must uncover the very secrets the Great Eye's enemies pursue. Secrets that can unravel reality as we know it.
And you think the books crumbled because of some protection Hermaeus Mora has in place?
Obviously. Everything of Apocrypha is of Hermaeus Mora. Only through the Great Eye's will could the sacred tomes be destroyed. You were chosen, and then I was unlucky enough to become involved. For good or ill, our fates have become tangled.
And that means...
For me to complete my task, you must succeed in yours. Which is clearly impossible since you can't overcome Apocrypha's protections. Which means you won't be able to save fate. So I suppose it doesn't really matter. Reality will unravel soon enough.
Alright, my little ball of fluff. Goodbye. Jeez. All these poor books, just rotten. Just rotten away. Feel like we're going down this way. Right? Oop. This way? Oop. Must be up higher. Oop.
In my travels, I have gathered many mortal goods and wares. Care to take a look? You wouldn't want to be caught unprepared. Not when there are so many eyes watching.
Looks like a cuddly guy, right?
I can always spot a mortal who has come face to face with the Prince of Knowledge. He leaves a mark on you, not unlike an ink stain. I hope your pact was worth it. Now, care to trade?
Friend, Laramil is waiting for you in her study.
That was awkward reading as hell.
The midden stacks have been reluctant to yield the answers I had hoped for.
Apocrypha itself works against you. But the Great Eye's surrogate had some success.
Indeed. Show me, Proxy. Is it true? Were you able to successfully gather research on the relic, the rite, and the lost dream? Every time I thought I found something relevant, it crumbled or burned up before I could examine it.
Same, but I saved these pages concerning the relic, lost memories, and the infinite panopticon.
So you experienced something similar? As though the stacks were actively trying to keep the information hidden. Still, you managed to save some of the research. A reflection of your role as Fate's proxy, perhaps. Let me peruse these pages.
I'm not sure what any of this actually means or how it helps us.
This implies the relic was specifically created to reveal hidden secrets. Do these secrets pertain to the ancient cipher's report regarding the dream of a lost memory? And this last one? Could the enemy be seeking the infinite panopticon?
What's the infinite panopticon?
Only one of Hermaeus Mora's most secure repositories of secret knowledge. It exists within a pocket realm of Apocrypha, but the entrance constantly shifts locations. Of course, they must be using the Fulcrum Obscura to reach the Panopticon.
So how do we use this information?
You and Gadain must use the part of the relic you possess to do the same as the enemy. Locate the entrance to the Panopticon. There are cairns throughout the realm. Sprinkle this dust of conjunction on 3 of them, then let Gadain apply the relic.
How do these cairns help us find the entrance?
Applying the dust to the 3 cairns I marked on your map will form a matrix of magicka. Gadain shall use the relic on each. Then I can perform a ritual to locate the Panopticon's entrance. I shall also give Gadain a gift. Something to protect him.
Gift?
A charm that will provide Gadain with some measure of safety as you travel through Apocrypha. Please keep him safe, Proxy. Even with the charm, he seems overly fragile. Each cairn should glow after the successful application of dust and relic.
I'll watch out for Craig Gadain. But are you certain this will work?
Research is often a series of trials and errors. But yes, this should work. In addition to its normal properties, the relic should also seek out its other half. After you activate the 3 cairns, return here. Then I shall complete the ritual. Gadain, take this charm. It shall mark you as my guest in Apocrypha, and keep you safe.
That's most thoughtful, Laramil. Thank you.
The infinite panopticon is kept hidden for a good reason, Laramil.
Which is why we must locate it and protect it from the enemy.
This is the sort of quandary that makes my tentacles twitch.
Alright, in next episode we will go prepare the Karns for a hidden fate. Thanks for keeping me company, guys.